Right, afternoon guys, hope you're all well. Back again, another reveal. And this one is for Stu Kendrick. You'll have seen one of his, well, in fact you'll have seen two of his cues before. He's had two cues off me already. And if you actually have a look on my Facebook page, on my the profile picture at the top there, you'll see two Apex cues with matching mini butts. Those are Stu's. So returning customer, fantastic customer. So yeah, I did those last couple of cues for Stu, and he got in touch one time and he says, "Carl, are you anywhere near Ashington in Northumberland?" I went, "That's exactly where I am. Why do you ask?" He goes, "Oh, because I've got a darts match up there with the county darts. Sorry, I can't remember which county team it is, but yeah, he says I've got a county darts match up there, and we're playing at this pub. Do you know it?" I went, "It's actually about 3 minutes drive from my house." "Oh, wonderful, great. I've got an idea. Can we meet up when I get up there?" I said, "Sure, no problem." So he came up. I went up to the pub, picked him up, brought him back to the workshop, and we got chatting. I think Stu must like sort of like the old spies and espionage sort of films, because he came up with like an A4 brown manila envelope, and then, it might as well have top secret written across the top of it. Quite mysterious. So I said, "Right, come on then, Stu, what have you got in there for me?" And he goes, "Right, I've got an idea for a cue, and I've drawn it out for you. So I'll show you it afterwards, but I've got the page here." So he pulled the paper out, shows us the drawings for it. And I went, "Oh my God, right, okay, here we go." Because the first two Apex cues I did from, bear in mind, Stu's kind of like the godfather of the Apex cue. He owns the first one I ever did, and it was his sort of like splice work design of how to bring it all together. So yeah, he's adding to his collection. He got a second one, and he goes, "I've got an idea for another cue." So here we are. This one is totally different again from the first two that he's got. So hopefully you're all going to like. So you give me 2 minutes, we'll have a look. So, for Mr. Kendrick, for cue number 3 as a returning customer, we have got another Apex cue. And this time he's gone for something a bit different, and it's something I've never done before. It's a one-piece ash model, but up here we've got a single front splice of quilted maple. Now, normally you would do your 4 splices all the way around, but he's gone for something a bit unique here. Single front splice at the top, before he then comes into the 4 splices, and he's got them offset 45 degrees. So the next lot of slices are walnut, and he's got them infused with a blue and white resin. Everything's got the lovely bright blue veneers on, and then he comes back into some quilted maple, offset again 45 degrees, and then we're coming down to some red mallee burr, again offset 45 degrees, again with the blue veneers, and he's finished off at the bottom with slightly different splice work. So on the front here we've got this quilted maple again with a white blue veneer. On the side and on the back we've got walnut with a white veneer, walnut with a white resin, but then a black veneer, a white veneer, and a blue veneer. So as you can see, absolute mental amounts of work going into this. As usual, I'm afraid I am a little bit behind with it, but as hopefully you can see why this is taking me a hell of a long time to do. But yeah, this is a sort of drawing I was getting off Stu. Can you see that? So what I'll try to do is just marry it up. All that splice work is now on that cue, and you just see up here, got that front splice just poking out by itself. So I think this one definitely warrants a quick flyover. You can just see the quilting in there, but once the oil hits, I know that's really going to come out a lot more distinctive. Into the red mallee, back in the quilted maple, into the walnut, and then that single front of quilted maple. Very, very different design. It's not something I've done before. And as you can imagine with this, trying to get all the points to line up on the 45 degrees, it is quite tricky to do it well, but hopefully we've nailed it. So, enough prattling on, let's get some oil on it. As usual, we'll start there and go straight up the middle. Instantly, you can see the red mallee just darkens down, and you get all the detail coming out, which you can't see just when it's had its rough sand. The quilted maple's coming up lovely, and so is that walnut. Beautiful stuff. So yeah, so Stu, thank you very much, mate, for coming back again and again. I really do appreciate it. And you're going to have quite the collection of Apex cues by the end of this. Certainly, I don't think anyone else has got this sort of like level of Apex models lying around. Now we've got loads of oil on, and now we'll have a look. So what do I think of that? So starting at the bottom, yeah, we've got the white quilted maple at the front there with the blue veneers, and then we've got the walnut, which I've missed a bit of oil. Excuse me. There's so much Q to get done here. A little bit of walnut on there and on the sides. Actually, in fact, I think it's just soaking in so nicely. Coming up into red mallee burl, into quilted maple, that lovely white, just sort of like sort of breaks up the dark woods in the Q. Coming up into walnut burl, and then in that quilted maple front. And we've got blue and white resin running throughout. So just get that focused. There we go, look at that. And then just white resin down in the walnut. Right, I'm going to get some more oil in there, because that is really, really thirsty. So, what do I think of that one? If you have a look on like I say, on the top of my Facebook page, you'll see the first two Apex Qs that I did for Stu. This is number 3, and they all have that very distinctive own look about them. Now, just to make it undisputed that Stu is the baller, the high roller of the Apex Q game, not only did he order this Apex Q, he asked me to build 2. So hopefully now you can really see why I'm running a little bit late. These 2 Qs, now the only thing different about these ones, this one that's on the lathe now has the walnut around the back. This model doesn't. So I don't know if this is a his and hers, or if he just fancied 2 slightly different designs, but I'll try and move that up. But the rest of it is a match, as you can see, even from that front splice there. In fact, actually, there's quite a nice way to do it. So you see, that's the sort of shading you get on the walnut as it's just raw and sanded. Bit of oil on. Look at that colour difference. Lovely quilted maple. Very hard to find quilted maple of this calibre. I actually had to go to a guitar manufacturer, a guitar supplier to find it quite as nice as that. Red mallee. You know, I've mentioned it before, I absolutely hate working with the stuff, but I do admit it looks lovely. Again, you got the raw, dull looking stuff, and then a bit of oil really brings out the detail. Nice quilted maple at the front. And like I say, this bottom Q that's on the lathe now just has the extra 3 splices of walnut. So yeah, sorry, just trying to balance that. Because that extra splice, I've had to push the lathe really far back to even try and capture it all. But yeah, hopefully you can understand now with the amount of work that's gone into both Qs, and both Qs will be getting their own matching mini butts, which I'm busy working on as well. You can see how much time and effort's been put into these. It does take quite a toll on the business, but I think these are my last 2 big outstanding Qs, so hopefully in the next month I should be catching up quite nicely. So there you go. Stu, hopefully you like them, mate. Nice little additions to your collection. We'll be looking probably 2 to 3 weeks by the time I get the mini butts done and get everything else oiled and waxed. And then they are all yours. So if you do happen to be coming back up here for another darts game, give me a shout. If not, we'll get them out in the post here, and I'm sure you'll love them. So what do you think of that? It's even hard to get all on the screen at once. There's that much splice work going into it. Really nice design, lovely icy blue and white design. A little bit of dark contrast in the red mallee and the walnut. I say that unique single front splice up at the top there, with the 2 offsets just either side of it. There we go. Right, thanks guys. Let us know what you think of this one in the comments, and also please go check the 2 that are on the top of the page. You'll see every time Stu comes through, he's got this new design, new development going on here. 2 Qs kind of the same, so I don't know, like I say, it might be a match in his and hers. I really don't know. I didn't ask him, to be honest. I was just quite happy to take on the challenge of building it. Hopefully, Stu, if you've got any more thoughts for new Qs, you'll give us a little bit of time to catch up on the next ones. Thanks very much, guys, and I think the next, if I get my timings right on the Qs, the next reveal I do will be a bit of a different one, because I think the next reveal will be a potential stock Q for sale. but it can still be tailored to your needs, so it won't be getting fully oiled and things. I'll just show it off on the lathe for you guys to see, and someone might like to take it and skip the 2 year wait. So thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.